If you've ever tried to film yourself, you know the pain. Setting up all the gear yourself, trying to film yourself when you can't actually see yourself, trying to light, but there's no one there to look at to see if you're lighting well. It's a process. But recently I shot a solo project that I acted in and filmed, and I actually had a lot of fun. And in this video, I'm gonna tell you why. Quick introduction, this solo film that I shot is called Influencer, and it's about a juggler who's trying to get famous on social media. He's trying to become an influencer, but he's discouraged because no one likes his videos. The video is about sort of questioning social media's role in our lives as freelancers and about intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation and what happens when you start doing things for the camera instead of for yourself. Now, before I get into what I loved about this project and some tips to help make your solo project look good, I want to talk a little bit about my philosophy behind dance films and circus films, basically artistic films in general. Here's what I think. You don't watch a hospital drama for the surgery. It's not like an hour of surgery. It's about all the other human stuff happening around, and it just happens to be set in a hospital. Similarly, I think if you're gonna make a circus or dance film, you gotta employ the traditional tools of drama, of film. And that means, what does your character want? What's their goal? What are they trying to achieve in this short film? What are their relationships to other people? Or in my case, to the outside world through social media? What is their narrative arc? Where are they starting and where are they ending? And then once you have those things, layer in the dance, layer in the circus tricks, layer in all the beautiful images, but it starts with that core idea of like, what does your person want? What are you trying to do with this story? All I knew when I started making Influencer was that I have this guy that's unhappy because he's trying to get famous on social media and he doesn't know how to do it, and it's making him dislike the thing that he loves, which is juggling. And at the end, I knew I wanted him to, spoiler alert, I wanted him to stop doing it for the gram and find a way to do it for himself again, to find that intrinsic joy that he had that first made him fall in love with juggling. So that was all I knew going into it, and I started filming. And that takes us to the first thing that I love about solo filmmaking. You can start rolling in your living room, put it right into your computer, and see what's working, what's not working, and leave all the gear set up so that you can go right back and go do another take if you don't like it. So I would often do this while I was making Influencer. I would literally leave the light in place, leave the camera where it was, and just pull out the memory card, dump the footage, look at it, put it into my timeline, and then I could tell right away, is this working for me or not? And I found this really freeing, and it gave me a lot of really fun ideas because I had this momentum where I could put it into my timeline and try stuff out. I could think, this is kind of working, but I need a bunch of quick edits. So I would grab like 4 more shots really quick, and I could grab all this stuff and immediately have it and see the edit growing in front of my eyes, which gave me a lot of motivation to keep working. The second thing that's really helpful is available resources. I knew I was gonna shoot this almost entirely in my apartment with the costumes that I had. I wasn't gonna spend any money, and if I didn't have it, I'd find a creative solution. This made me choose a story that would fit within my resources. If you start thinking, I'm gonna do a car chase scene, I'm gonna have a helicopter, you're just never gonna make the thing. Write the story to the size of your available resources. Having that limitations of how big your sandbox is really helpful. Then you can stop focusing on the sandbox and start focusing on playing and actually doing the thing. Having a deadline is a great motivator. I'd filmed another project with actually 20 people on set that I was directing. I wasn't gonna finish the edit in time for the International Circus Film Fest, a circus film festival that I really wanted to submit to. So I decided to shoot a solo film that had sort of been kicking around in my head for a while. Now, a lot of you might not come from a filmmaking background, and you might wonder, how do I make it look good? There's 3 things here. The first is lighting. So I filmed all of Influencer with one filmmaking light, the F22C, and that's actually what's lighting me right now. So we're here, and that's the light, and you can see how close it is. It's right there. And if you do have access to a film light, that's awesome. The main key that I would say is that you want your light to look motivated. So here I'm not doing a great job because this is kind of a talking head situation. I'm talking to camera, I want to be well lit. But if this was a narrative, I might try to make my light source, my light that's right here, feel like it's actually the light that's coming from this window behind me. Right there. So I might try to match the color temperature to make it feel a lot more natural. And like you would believe if you didn't know that I had a light, that this light that's on me now is actually coming from that window. Whereas in reality, if I turn it off, that's what I look like. It's not as flattering. But because it's coming from the same side as the window, you could kind of believe that maybe that's what's lighting me. Not really. Not really. This is, I don't know. I think this looks okay, but I'm not trying to play it as the window. Motivate your light sources. You'll see I tried to do this throughout Influencer. So for example, when I had the little puck light that was on the back of the cell phone, I actually had the F22 just off of camera actually doing the lighting. So it looked like it was the little light lighting me, and it was a little bit, but it was more the big soft source behind it that was doing the lighting. So finding opportunities like that, if you do have a light, that can really help make your images look good and make them look more believable that it's natural light. And if you don't have a light, you can use windows. Some of my favorite shots in Influencer are when I'm looking out the window, and basically a window is a big softbox. If it's an overcast day, the light from the sun is getting diffused through all those clouds, and it's like a big soft source that's gonna make a really nice roll off on your skin. So put yourself next to a window, try to set your characters next to a window, I guess solo filmmaking. Put yourself next to a window, put the camera on the other side so that you've got some shadow closer to camera, and then the light source, the window, farther from camera. And that's gonna make a really good looking image. And you can see that I used it a lot standing right at this window right behind me here. Another tip that's gonna help is shot variety. So especially when you're filmmaking solo, it can be really annoying to set up lots of shots. Every time you have to check the frame, am I in it? Is my head cropped out? You're gonna sit down and you're gonna be here and you're like, oh man, I gotta adjust the camera again. But getting this variety of shots really is gonna help you in the edit. So do your scene, do your solo scene, and then, zoom the lens in, boop, and then do it again a little bit closer so that you have a variety to cut to. You can mix and match takes because you have places to cut that doesn't look like a jump cut. It looks like just a new angle. Boop, boop, boop. A variety of shots is really gonna save you in the edit. The third thing I would say is that if you're used to making movies, you know how it is on set. You go there for like 12 hours minimum. You get your script all set up, you get your shots all planned, you come in with a team, you set up your lights, you do your take, you do your alternate angle, you do it a few times, and then you move on. And you do that for 12 hours. And I think sometimes when we do solo filmmaking, we think that we don't have to put in that effort for some reason. So if you go into the filming knowing, I'm gonna treat this like someone else's project or like a real project with lots of people, you kind of steel yourself and you know it's gonna take all day. And once you've accepted that, it's actually really fun. You can take the time to make it look good. You can take the time to check out the shots on your computer. And it feels like you're treating it the same way as a normal movie. And that's a big key to just enjoying the experience and accepting that it's gonna take the time that it takes. The last little trick is that I cheated on some of these shots. I didn't actually do it solo. My girlfriend films all the handheld stuff you see in the movie. Now she's familiar with cameras, but she's not a filmmaker. She's not a camera operator. So what I did was often I would have her stand in place or sit in place, and I would show her the shot that I'd want. I'd get the lighting looking good. I'd try it out on her, and then I'd have her try to replicate it. I'd put all the settings into the camera. I'd switch it to manual focus if I wanted it sort of in and out of focus, and I'd tell her that, and I'd communicate exactly what I wanted. And so even if you don't have a bunch of filmmaking buddies or experienced people to make your film with, you might have a roommate, you might have a parent, you might have a boyfriend or girlfriend, and you can get them to do stuff as long as you show them what to do. And sometimes they'll enjoy that participation. I hope you check out Influencer and drop any comments about solo filmmaking below. See you out there.